There's like an image in my head that I will never forget of that sweet little innocent face just lying there with so many machines attached to her and her lungs were just failing. After she passed away, Erin said to Dr. Quintero, "You haven't seen the last of me." She said, "I promise you, I'm not going to let another family go through what we went through." That's how the foundation began. Literally in that room the day after Brianna passed away.
I've never in a million years thought that we would be funding international studies and national studies with Harvard and University of California and University of London with partnerships from other organizations. Our mission with the Brianna Marie Foundation is to give hope, to give purposeful, meaningful, thankful hope to other individuals.
Talking to people about what fetal hydrops is very important to spread the awareness so that other families in our situation kind of have a head start on figuring out what kind of options there are.
The Brianna Marie Foundation has been extremely successful with funding for essential research that ultimately will result in better cures and more hope for families affected not only by hydrops or non-immune hydrops, but also by several other treatable fetal conditions.
Dr. Quintero travels the world teaching other doctors how to help other patients like Erin and Patrick. That's what excites me. I mean, it's great to fundraise and to fund research, but when you're a parent and you hear that you might lose your child, no money in the world makes a difference. You need hope.
Patrick and I thought we were done after 2 boys. But I convinced him that we had to try for that one last baby. We were successful after our first couple months of trying. I was so happy to tell my family that we were expecting our 3rd baby. And it was the 18-week ultrasound that we went to when we found out, laying on the table, looking at this perfect little baby kicking on the monitor, that there was fluid in her lungs. And the doctor looked me in the eyes and said, "You need to terminate this pregnancy. She is never gonna live." And I looked at him and I looked back at the monitor and I see this little baby kicking and I was very confused and I didn't know what to think. We immediately got in with another doctor at a specialty clinic in Orlando. And again, we were told, "Your baby has fetal hydrops. There's fluid in the baby's lungs and stomach. This baby is very sick." I remember getting a phone call from the specialty clinic in Orlando and the doctor on the other end of the line said, "I think I found someone that can help." Within the next 2 days, we were down in Miami and we met Dr. Quintero for the first time. We met the man who changed our lives, honestly, because he did give us that hope. I remember he used a quote and he said that the percent of Brianna living is 0 unless you try something, and I'm willing to try something. And he did. And he tried 3 different times to save her with us. And he's a miracle worker. He and his team are able to operate on organs the size of a pea and save children. We would scan every week or sometimes 2 or 3 times a week and to see how her lung tissue was growing. And we knew if we got it to a certain level, she could sustain life. And we were close. We were really, really close. And when I went into labor and my water broke, it was like the world stopped because it was just a little bit too early. It was scary, it was emotional. I didn't know what was going on half of the time. I was so highly medicated.
I will never forget when the doctor walked out and said, "Brianna is here and her lungs are beautiful." And we all kind of just took this sigh of relief. We knew that she needed a lot of help, but their initial reaction was she looked good. Patrick was downstairs with Brianna and Erin was upstairs recovering, and we got the call that things took a turn for the worst.
I remember when I was brought down to see her and I knew what was happening. I did have a little time to spend with her alone, but not much. I held her when she died. I was numb. I didn't know what had just happened. You can't imagine it. It's so hard to even describe the feeling of, it's almost like an out-of-body experience. Like I was watching myself from the outside look down on this person that just went through this horrific event. And I'm watching from the outside this person in a hospital gown rocking her child that just passed away. watching the dreams of her getting pedicures together and doing mommy and daughter things together, it just disappeared. It's a feeling that unless you've experienced it, you really can't understand. And that's something that I try to explain to every parent that comes to us, that I do understand. I do understand what it's like to have that feeling. I carried this child for almost 37 weeks and I fought for her with all I had. I fought by having major surgeries in order to save her. And in 15 hours, I had her, and then she was gone. Saw a side to Patrick that I had never seen before because this was his daughter. And this was a daughter that he would later have told me that he always dreamed of going to a daddy-daughter dance with. Patrick and I held her until I think about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And then they took her from us and we went back into our room and nobody knew what to do, what to say. And it was that next day when I knew I couldn't let anybody else go through this. My mission was to make sure everyone was educated, that there are options and that there are different ways that you can offer therapies to these unborn babies and to save them. I'm just a mom. I'm just a mom that wants to help other moms and other dads and other babies and other doctors. And by getting behind me, you're going to help me also have more of a voice in order to get the word out. That's my goal. I just want people to know that there are choices for babies that have a negative fetal diagnosis. And the only way that that's going to happen is with everyone on board listening to what we're saying and then repeating it so that others know that there's choices. I go to baseball, I go to golf, I do all these other activities with my boys, and this is my time that I have with my daughter. Brianna will never become a doctor or a lawyer or anything else, but she has become something, and the 15 hours that she had with us turned her into this amazing being that offers so much more than any one of us could have ever imagined. She's perfect. Brianna shared 15 hours with us, and those 15 hours changed who I am today. And I hope to God that no one ever has to experience the 15 hours that we did. But I do challenge you to ask yourself, how are you spending 15 hours? Are you spending 15 hours with your family? Are you spending 15 hours for yourself? Are you spending 15 hours to help someone else? Think about what 15 hours mean to you, because to us, 15 hours meant everything.
Patrick had left ahead of Aaron to drive home because he had to share the news with Braden and Ryan. They, wanted to be the ones to tell them in person what had happened. So I stayed back to drive Aaron home. And I remember we made it, an hour or two, and we decided we need to pull over to the restroom. We walked into a restaurant, and a mother's in the restroom and says, "Brianna, don't forget to wash your hands." And Aaron and I just looked at each other like, whoa, if that is not a sign from above, then we don't know what is, because it is not a very common name. There, right in front of us, was our little angel, just letting us know that she was with us and, guiding us home and would guide us through the rest of our lives without her.
On behalf of the Brianna Marie Foundation, we would like to say thank you. Thank you for your support over the years and for helping us to stay on our journey with our angel. It's because of people like you and donations that are made that we are able to fund studies and to offer hope for babies that receive a negative fetal diagnosis. Funding in fetal surgeries is very minimal, so every penny matters, and we are so grateful for your continued support. To make a donation, please go to www.briannamariefoundation.com.